Alright my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh episode of our Planet Zoo series, Hyland Zoo. We're into episode 23, I believe it is today, my friends, and another habitat build and another space in the zoo that needed filling and a new area that sort of needed sort of planning out basically. And I don't mean area, by a big vast area, for a sort of continent of animals or anything like that, but basically a backstage area that we've got to start prepping for a few animals that are going to make their way into the zoo in the future. But my friends, if you've missed the last episode, that's above for you right now. Feel free to go watch that and go and get caught up. I believe last episode was our mandrill habitat build, a very complex one. It was a long episode, but plenty of you have sat down and watched it and enjoyed it, and you've all got involved in the comment section once again, which was absolutely fantastic to see. Today, as the description of today's video says, it's the time for the Tapir Exhibit. Now, this is one that we have been talking about forever, and a lot of the reason why we hadn't put it in the zoo was because we didn't have the right space for it. But I've done some clearing out. I've done some removal of path. I think I've found the right area, and I think it's going to serve a really good purpose where I've put it as well, because it's going to be the beginnings of another backstage area that will probably end up servicing the Bengal tiger and the orangutans when they eventually end up in the zoo. So it's going to have a multi-purpose, which is always good to see, especially as we are still aiming towards that sort of realism side of it. We are thinking about backstage lots as well as the habitats and things like that. So yeah, we finally get round to sort of something a bit new, ladies and gents, which is really exciting. And I'm glad as well that finally I've got the tapirs into the zoo, because they have been one of the most requested animals by you guys for a long time, and I just haven't got round to getting them in the zoo, or finding the time to find the right area for them. But I think that we've done a good job. They're basically opposite the visitor centre and the pygmy hippos, and because they're a semi-aquatic animal, I thought that would be quite a cool area to put them. I've kind of designed their hard shelter as a sort of similar thing to the pygmy hippos as well. It's smaller, it's not as high, the staff quarters are separate to the building, so there are some differences. I didn't just want to do a like for like, where the pygmy hippos are concerned. And plus you have to remember as well, where our hippos are concerned, we've got 5 of them. With the tapir, we can only have 2 and a youngster, because of the way the numbers are with these animals. In the wild, they are a solitary animal. They only really come together to mate. So yeah, you have to think about these things when you're putting these habitats together. There's more than enough room for them in this habitat for the 2 animals. I have made the majority of the exhibits in the zoo slightly bigger than they need to be. A lot of the reason for that is that zoos are starting to do that now. I was a bit concerned a few episodes ago that maybe I was making the habitats a little bit too big, but there was someone that wrote a comment and said that zoos are actually going towards this sort of, they're looking towards creating as much space as possible for the animals now. It was very sort of popular back in the day to, restrict the space of the animals so that they could fit more in the zoos, but now, animals are being given more room. So that was good to read as well. Because after that comment I went away and did some reading, and it really is the case, and I'm definitely going to be taking that into consideration when I start to put together the big African habitats, because I want to give those animals plenty of room. It's going to be great when we finally get round to doing the giraffes and the zebras and stuff. I think that we'll be able to create some really fascinating stuff. On the subject of the giraffes, I have found a giraffe house that actually exists in real life, and I am going to attempt to recreate it. It might sort of but not like for like. I don't like the colour of it in real life. I'm going to do slightly different colour, but I am going to try to recreate it for our zoo. So I've kind of found this, I've got some subject material for the giraffe house, because I feel like the giraffe house is a big deal. I feel like it needs to be something special because they're such a big animal. The building needs to be quite high. So yeah, I've I've been wondering what to do. There's one in Rotterdam that I was going to do that's sort of like, it's like an onion shape, but then I realised that Silv had already sort of done his version of that when the game first came out, and he just kind of did a single build, so I don't want to go and do that again. It's kind of already been done in the community, so I found a different one, and I am going to go with that and try and do that for the giraffes. I don't know when they're going to be. I really don't, because each episode I kind of pick the game up, I go into the game, I take a look at the areas, I start doing stuff that needs to be done, like foliage and little bits of work that I don't do on camera, and then usually from there organically I fall on into an area and start building, and that's exactly what happened today. I started removing some path, I started reworking path, I started putting plants in, and and just this area just kind of organically it fell into place basically, and that's why the tapirs are going to live where they live, and it's going to be sort of like the start of a new little plot in the zoo as well, which is great, and we're going to heavily foliage it all up and things around the edges and get a new staff area in, and I think it's going to work really nice actually, and it will look really cool when it's all finished, which you're going to see the majority of it's been done in the live section. I'm unfortunately not had a lot of time to really get a lot done in the zoo of late. It's going to be a busy week again this week, and when we get to the live section I'll talk more about sort of this week and the uploads and how much is going to go out, but at the moment I'm really not sure what's going to be happening on the channel this week. I'm really not. I want to try and get as many videos out as possible because I'm really enjoying the build, I'm really enjoying the channel. I say this every single week, I know, but I am really enjoying it, really enjoying the comment section and the suggestions and the interaction I'm having with you guys, and and I just feel like we're getting to a stage with the zoo now as well where it's really starting to fall into place. All the little gaps, all the little spots are all starting to get filled up, and it really is starting to come together, and it's fascinating. A lot of the time I'll go into the zoo sometimes and I'll walk around and take a look at sort of a ground level, so I can try and see if there's things that need changing or things that need sorting out, and so for me the zoo is really coming together now, and when we started the African area, there was a lot of open space, but I feel like we're starting to close those spaces. I've started putting path in place as well, ready for some bigger animals. I've started, finding some really good ones on the Animal Trading Centre, and I've started, putting path in place ready for when we do maybe like the rhinos, for instance. I kind of think I know where I want to put those now. I know where the tiger's going to go. The tiger was always going to be put in the place that I've prepped for it, but I think that we're obviously going to have to rework the path, and we're going to have to rework the way we were going to do it, but I know where the tiger's going to go. Essentially I know where the orangutan's going to go as well. We know where the lions, the giraffes, the zebras are going to go. I want to do a sort of not quite a 360 exhibit because we have to have the backstage area, but maybe like a 250 degree sort of exhibit, I guess you could say, for the ostriches. I've got an idea of what I want to do for the ostriches as well, and I might even throw the warthogs in with them, so we've got like two animals in there. So I've really started to come up with the plans, and I started doing something as well that I wasn't doing at the beginning, and I've started sketching rough sort of ideas. I really started sketching out sort of like the shapes where I want the path to go, and I think that might be something I implement into a future series where I kind of show you the plans that I put together each time it goes into an exhibit. I wasn't doing that, but it's really helped. Like I sketched this one out and it helped massively, especially with the little water area. I wanted to put in a sort of concreted water area similar to the way we did with the hippos, and the planning helped that, because obviously we've still rocked it up to make it look as natural as possible, but we've done the bit right down the bottom all in concrete, because obviously this is the sort of thing that would be drained and washed and cleaned out from time to time. So wanted to keep with the realism as well. A lot of these animals do have their watering holes and things built out of concrete and stuff like that. So it's just really interesting the way that sort of as time has gone on, my way of building the zoo has kind of evolved as well. It's said quite often in the comment section that I have a very strange building style. Like when people watch some of the speed build parts of the videos, they wonder where it's going a lot of the time. Trust me, when I'm building a habitat, I sit and wonder where it's going myself. And when I sit and watch these back, I really cringe at myself sometimes, because it would appear that I'm really, really unorganised. But trust me, I won't start a build unless I really know what I'm going to do. I just think I have a bit of a weird sort of backwards way of, doing things, a real backwards mentality. Really, I always start with a hard shelter, which I think is a wise thing to do, because you kind of want to get that building in, because you want to know the placement and stuff. But then after that, it goes tits up. It goes all over the place. I'll do a bit of foliage, and I'll do a bit of this and a bit of that, and yeah, it's a weird way of building, but it always seems to come together when we get to those live sections, doesn't it? So it can't be all bad, ladies and gents. It really, really can't. So yeah, the zoo is coming on nicely, like I say, and plans are in place, ready for certain animals, and I kind of know where they're going, and that is great to know as well, especially with things that are going on at the minute, which, like I say, I will touch upon it when we get to the live section of today's video. I think it'd be easier to do it then. I think it'll be easier to kind of talk about it then, because we don't have to talk about it too much during the live section of the videos, other than take a good look at the habitats and stuff. So yeah, I'll fill you in on what's going to happen with the channel this week and stuff. But essentially, I'm really starting to get big plans for this channel. This channel has really overtaken my other channel, and it's not just because it's successful, but I would say that the community is a bit nicer over here, for one. So I think that positive vibes, they breed a positive mentality, and that's really helped. It really has. It's really helped me. A man that suffers with mental health issues, it's really helped. Trust me. So yeah, that's one thing. But I just like the fact that the way that I make these videos is a lot easier. I'm enjoying the game, and then I don't know, I really can't put my finger on it, but this channel is just a lot more successful than the other channel at the moment, especially views wise. Views to subscribers, this is absolutely smashing it. And there's nothing better if you're a content creator, and I don't know if there's any other guys that are watching the channel that create content themselves, but there's nothing better than when you're a content creator than creating a video and it smashing it, absolutely smashing it, and loads of people viewing it, liking it, commenting on it. There's nothing better, because it's such a rewarding feeling, because you've spent time making that video, and then people are taking the time to interact as well. It makes it worth it. And the thing is, what I will say about my other channel is I just don't really get that on some of the videos. Some of them just don't do very well. They just are not very, they just don't get over with people. Some really do, like my Premier League show, for instance, that I've not been making recently because of stuff that's been going on. Like I've been trying to find a new job and things like that, so I've just kind of taken a bit of time off of it. But that does well, but other than that, nothing really does all that well on the other channel. And so yeah, it can get a bit sort of it can get a bit depressing at times. It can get a bit disheartening. I wouldn't say depressing. It can, get a bit disheartened. You can get a bit disheartened with it, and obviously, then you're not really that motivated to make the videos and stuff. But with this channel, I'm so massively motivated to come on and make a video or get a build done. And the minute that the build's done, I don't want to sit on it. I want to edit it straight away. I want to get it up on the channel. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Yeah, I'm just loving the process. I really am, and really enjoying the channel. And the big thing as well is I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the channel as well, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the build. I'm glad you're enjoying what we're doing, and I'm glad that a lot of you feel like you can get in touch in the comment section and say what you want to say and suggest new things. I think a big thing that I really need to start looking towards is a petting zoo, because I think it was 2 episodes ago, I think might have even potentially been like the latest zoo so far episode, we spoke about a petting zoo, because obviously there's a few animals in the game that we weren't sure what we were going to do with, like the camel and the sheep. And it keeps coming up in the comment section, and I'm not ignoring it. I always try to reply to as many comments as I can. And so yeah, because it keeps coming up, I really do need to start thinking about the petting zoo. I really need to start thinking about where we're going to put that. and maybe even getting it done, because so many people want to see it. So many people want to see what I could do with that idea. That I think that's a big thing as well, is that a lot of people, obviously you've all started watching the channel because you're enjoying my build style and the way that I'm building, but a lot of people are saying that, like, where have you been? If you've got this, this ability to, create things and put things together the way you are, where have you been? Why have you not been doing this? Well, I've been doing a football channel for the last 2 years, guys, so I kind of been putting everything into that, but I just needed a change, and so I started a second channel. I do stuff on both channels. I'm quite a busy guy when it comes to content creation, but that's me. That's what I like doing. So the way I look at it is, if I'm playing Football Manager or if I'm playing Planet Zoo, I might as well record anyway. So if I end up making something really cool and then it goes up on YouTube and people get to enjoy it, then I've absolutely smashed it. And I've killed 2 birds with 1 stone at the end of the day. So that's kind of the way I was looking at it. But yeah, I just needed a bit of a change. I started the second channel, and so yeah, that's where I've been just doing other stuff. But it appears that a lot of people seem to think that I'm quite good at this. And so I'm not quite sure I believe it myself yet. I'll get there, trust me. A self sort of appreciation has never been a strong point of mine, but I'm sure I'll get there one day. But so I guess that because you guys want to see what I could do with that, I guess it is something I really do need to start thinking about in the next sort of few episodes or so. But I need to plan it. I kind of know what I want to do. I kind of want to do like one big long stable. And I want it to kind of come round in an L shape, and so then on the backs of those stables I want there to be little little pens for each of the animals, and then one at the front is for there to be sort of bigger areas for the animals to roam around in. But inside there I want to try and do it so there's that double gate systems, and there's bits where obviously like people would be able to go in and like pet the animals and things like that. We won't be able to do that because camels and the sheep and whatever, you can't really do that in the game. But I might put like I might put like the peafowls in there as well. I might put some like more peacocks in there, but do it so you can walk through that exhibit. I think that would be quite cool, because then there's a bit of interaction where the farm's concerned. And although I'm going to put warthogs in with the ostriches, I might put some warthogs in the farm as well, because they just look like wild hogs at the end of the day, and you just have to use your imagination. But maybe like a farmyard pack is a DLC we definitely need, in my opinion, because most zoos around the world have a petting zoo. They really do. They have sort of something like that. So yeah, and then I'm not sure what else. We have got another tortoise. The Alabra tortoise, I believe it is. I'm probably getting that name completely wrong, but we could even put that in the zoo, in that petting part of the zoo as well, just to kind of pack it out a little bit. But yeah, I know what I want to do with it, sort of. But I just need to plan it, and I need to pick the area in the zoo to do it. So yeah, I'll get round to it. As I always say, I take all your suggestions on board, and if you guys want to see something, then I'd much rather make that than go and make something that you don't want to see. Like, I think the mandrill is a really good example of that. I was going to throw those guys to the wayside. I wasn't too interested in doing a habitat for them, because I thought that they were a species that were doing okay, because we are aiming very much at conservation in this zoo. But then someone brought it to my attention in the comment section, but that wasn't quite the case, and that maybe I should consider it. And then after that, and I did some reading, then I thought, do you know what, sod it, let's go for it. And I built it, and last episode has absolutely smashed it, and people love the build. So you guys clearly know what I should be doing, and so that's why I always take your feedback on board. But my friends, there isn't too long left of the speed build today, so I think what I'm going to do is just let you watch the end of the speed build. There won't be long, like I say, probably 10 minutes or so. So I'll let you enjoy the rest of the speed build. We'll come back for the live section of today's episode. We'll have a chat about things, and and then we'll sign on out. But my friends, enjoy the next 10 minutes or so of the rest of the speed build, and I'll see you soon. And so here we are, ladies and gents, at the live section of today's episode. And yeah, you'll see in the distance there the tapirs enjoying their brand new habitat. Yeah, the build is done and dusted. I've not really done too much of the area surrounding the habitat, so it is going to look like it sticks out like a sore thumb, unfortunately. But yeah, let's take a good look, shall we, ladies and gents. Now, so obviously I am at the point behind the habitat. Now, this is what I was saying about sort of like a new backstage area. I'm gonna pause this as I always do because all of these updates wind me up. Now, it's got nothing to do with animals anymore because I've actually decreased the rate that the animals age just to kind of stop that for a bit. You know, we don't really play it out all that much anyway, but a lot of the staff, when I first load the game up, none of the staff can find access to a staff room, which is really weird because they've all got staff rooms in their work zones, so I don't really understand it. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. So this is the start of another backstage area. I think we needed one over here, so what I'm planning on doing is, I'm not sure if we're going to use this. I might try to centralize it a bit more, because this backlot area is probably going to come like to the best part of all round here. So yeah, we've started all this off because this area down here, this big area at the bottom here, is probably, this is where I'm going to put the tigers. That's going to be probably dedicated to the tigers. So we are going to heavily foliage all sort of certain areas up, and then over here, all this area here is probably going to be the orangutans, and then you'll see all the pathing over here has started being put in. This is where I'm thinking about putting the Indian rhinos, and I'm probably going to give all these animals slightly bigger exhibits than they need, because especially the orangutans and because they're going to breed, I think, quite heavily, and then rhinos are a big animal, so I want to give them a lot of space, and then tigers tend to be given more space than they really need because they are solitary animals in the wild, and zoos try to keep multiple animals, and that's one of the better ways that they try to combat that. So yeah, that's my thinking where that's concerned, and that's why I felt like we needed to start a new sort of backstage area over here. So yeah, I've tried to go with a slightly different design. Obviously this is a roof we've been doing, you know, over with the mandrels and stuff, but yeah, I wanted to slightly go with something slightly different, and I think I've achieved it to some degree. There's a few little bits I need to do to this building. I will say that I'm not quite happy with it. I need to basically, I'll show you what I need to do. I need to take this piece and I need to pull it up and I need to put it there, and I need to do that on all the corners, and then it will look great. Basically then it will look finished. But yeah, that's going to be the start of a new back lot area. So if you were going to be viewing the animals though, this is how you would go about it, ladies and gents. So obviously the hippos are here, and so yeah, I thought about doing a new you know, sort of water area for them because they are a semi-aquatic animal. So we've just continued this seating plan that we had for the pygmy hippos up here. We've put an information thing for the tapirs in this one, and then yeah, basically you can view the animals for quite a bit here, all around this area. Basically I've put another sort of educational thing there, and yeah, I just thought that this would be the best place to look at the animal, would be to see them swimming, and I think that, you know, they do spend a lot of time down here, and so yeah, I'm really happy with the way that it come together, and you can see them kind of eating out of their foraging thing as well. I strategically sort of made all the vegetation heavy this area and left this so that people can see in there. But you know, if you come round at this angle, you get a really good view of it, because a lot of the reason for that is this path goes up. It actually goes slightly up, it gets higher as it goes around, and so yeah, it's been sort of put together in a lot more of a clever way than it appeared basically in the speed build section. That's why I like doing this live part of the video as well, because I get to explain a few things that you might not pick up. So yeah, it's just it's come together really nice, and I really like it. I think it's a really lush habitat again, and just sits in there nicely. And I think because the building is very similar to what we've got with the hippos, I think it really matches the area up nice, especially when you zoom out and you can see it all really matches up really nicely. I think once it starts getting all packed in with foliage and all this comes together, then it will sit in there even nicer. But yeah, I just think it's a nice part. I really do think it's a nice part. The concrete part probably is a bit heavy. It's a bit deep, but because of the way that it all kind of happened with the terrain and editing it out and whatever, and the way the path was, it's the best we could do, but I still think it works. I still think it looks really clean and really nice. And so yeah, the tapirs are in the zoo, ladies and gents. Finally we've got them in the zoo. And yeah, I'm gonna let it play out so you can kind of watch the tapirs. So we'll talk about the next bit. So obviously I was touching upon in the speed section about not sure about what I'm going to be doing this week where uploads are concerned and how much I'm going to get out to you guys. A lot of the reason for that is I don't know if many of you know, but I've been looking for work basically. I was made redundant from my last job around Christmas time, and so yeah, I've been basically just kind of looking for a new job, and I've got interviews this week, and so as a result I'm not going to have a lot of time to sit down and play the game and make episodes and stuff. So if I don't get as many videos up, if it's not as regular this week, you now know why. The other thing is as well, it's half term. I don't have kids, but I do have a wife that's a teacher, and you know, I want to spend a bit of time with my wife. We are expecting our first baby, and so we've got one of our scans this week. So that's a big deal as well. So that's another sort of day that I would want to give up to spend time with my wife and go and make sure that the scan and everything's okay. So yeah, it's a busy week basically is what I'm saying. So I can't guarantee any episodes, but I will do my best, you know, to try and get some stuff out for you. But yeah, the zoo's coming along quite nicely anyway, and I think we're at a stage where if we did have to take 3 or 4 day break, it wouldn't be the biggest problem in the world. But my friends, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of show you what we are going to be working on in the next few episodes though. So I'm going to zoom it all the way out because I need you guys to kind of soak up what is going to be happening. Now I am going to pause this while I do this because all this will just pop off otherwise. So as I've already said, the rhinos are going to go in here. I think that's sort of like the perfect placement for them. This road is going to peel off here and it's going to go underground. So I'm going to tunnel because I don't want to have loads of bridges all over the zoo. So I'm going to tunnel underground, and we're going to make a proper tunnel as well. So make it look nice. So that's going to go underground. It's going to tunnel and it's going to come up back here. Because the way I look at it is that we wouldn't want to drive big animals like this all around the zoo. You'd want to be able to take them down and out to the vets, because we've got a vets in here and a vets over here. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that. I want to get that put in, because then obviously this backstage area here can service these animals, but it's also linked to one of the main hubs, and you have to remember that this hub will be linked to this hub eventually, because this road is going to go all the way around. And then what I'm thinking as well is, if I do it, because I'm still not 100% sure I'm going to, but the bug house will live here if I do it. The chimpanzees, I'm thinking, will probably have to live here, or will have to go next door to the mandrills. I can kind of only see that being the only place we can put them. And a lot of you might be thinking, yeah, but there's loads of space in the zoo, but I'm not going to be using the whole surface area. That's not how it's going to work. I'm going to use as much as possible, but you know, this is the perimeter of the zoo because this is the main road. So yeah, I'm not going to be using the whole lot. So I think that the chimps will probably have to go there or there. It makes more sense here because of the backstage link. In here it would make sense to do you know, like a bug house, because that's in and out, and we could do it in a way that we put a butterfly house on the back, and then we could put like a little plaza area with some fountains and kind of decorate it, like, and kind of dedicate it to insects basically. And I think we could make that a nice sort of green area for that. Like I've already said, tigers are going here, orangutans are going here, the rhinos are going here, and then this path is coming up here because this is essentially where I might put the Indian elephants up here. Then we come over to Africa, and the ostrich and warthogs are going to go over here. We've got the giraffe and zebra going there, and then we've got the lions going here, and then after that we'll have to have a think, because it's at that point where all the gaps that you see now will be filled up, and then it'll be time to start something else. So yeah, we've still got plenty of episodes. We've still got plenty of time left in this zoo. We really, really have. There's so much to do. You know, I've still got that petting zoo to make as well, and I've got to start thinking about where we're going to put that. And I've got to finish off these car parks. You know, before this series is officially done and dusted, everything has to be done. Street lights, some fake shops, some housing. You know, everything needs to be ironed out before we even think about finishing. And we're nowhere near finishing, ladies and gents. Trust me. So yeah, I'm really excited about where we're going to go with the series and the future of the series as well. But yeah, although it's on pause, I will press play again and I'll leave you with the tapirs doing their thing. But my friends, if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. I really hope you have. And hit that bell notification button if you haven't done so already to never miss an upload. But my friends, until next time, don't know when it'll be. I hope it'll be again this week, but until next time, you make sure you're staying extra, and I'll see you real soon.